bullets?
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Dan, and for some reason, I waited until I was way past Unk status to start reading comic books. But there's one character that locked me in a collar and elbow and dragged me kicking and screaming into the hobby, and that's this scrappy little anarchist known as Spider-Punk. In this episode of Comic Evolution, we're going to break down a full decade of character design. And in context of comic books in general, a decade is no time at all. But in that decade, we've seen a rise and a depressing downfall of that character design. From denim to leather, to suit trim and back patches that come and go on a whim, we're tracking every major pivot in Hobie Brown's chaotic wardrobe. Now, we're not going to cover every random panel or cameo. That would take us straight up to the third Spider-Verse movie, and there's no way I'm getting stuck in that production hell. Instead, we'll focus on the big moments, the writers and artists, and the design shift that defined and somewhat destroyed our favorite anti-fascist Marvel character. Oh, and before we dive in, I genuinely appreciate you finding your way to this little corner of the internet. You don't have to like and subscribe just yet, but give me a couple minutes and I'll try to earn it. Deal? Cool. Okay, let's get after it.
You trying to kill me?
Meet Hobart Brown, aka Hobie, the Spider-Man of Earth 138. In this world, America is a deeply fascist nightmare run by a symbiote-fused Norman Osborn. So naturally, their Spider-Man is going to be a spiked-up, guitar-smashing rebel named Spider-Punk. Created by writer Dan Slott and artist Olivier Coipel, Spider-Punk debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 10 in 2015. His first panel is a close-up, nothing to see here. But the next page, a glorious full-body splash page. I heard originally that this design was supposed to be for the Spider-Man UK design, but thankfully it was saved for Hobie. Otherwise, who knows how generic this thing would have been. This guy's lean, tall, built like an acrobat with a spiked mohawk going straight back the dome piece. His suit sticks closely to the Spidey red and blues, but the red, instead of going all the way down the front of the chest, it kind of stops and does this W cutout in the front. It's a subtle tweak, but it does give the design this nuanced edge that I really like. But do you notice something missing? I sure do. There's no chest logo. On the regular Spider-Man, there's a little spider dead center of that chest of his. Here, Spider-Punk is designed without it, and I love it. A punk would completely ditch that tradition and design something of their own. And we'll see that a little bit later on when we take a peek at his legendary back patch. His right arm sports a 2-row studded bracelet, but the main event is the battle vest. Denim with a few patches on either side and tiny little shoulder spikes that really make for a great silhouette. There is no mistaking this Spider-Man for any other Spider-Man in the whole Spider-Verse. And you can't say that for every one of them. Coipel displays masterful artistry and gives Spider-Punk a great base that future artists would catapult from in masterful fashion. Fashion. Get it? This design is solid, but not quite peak. 7 out of 10 on the Punkometer. 1 year later, Spider-Punk would pop up in Web Warriors number 7, written by Mike Costa and drawn by David Baldian. On the cover, artist Julian Totino Tedesca gives us a version that's slick, but faithful. The vest this time looks a little more leather than denim to my eyes. And there's this white trim on the spider suit now. This white trim will come and go on a whim. I call that the trim whim. And there's a serious case of trim whim when it comes to Spider-Punk. But here on the cover, he's shown playing guitar and he's always looking like he's ready to chuck knuckles. Inside the book, Baldian keeps things solid, but the renders are a little bit too clean for my tastes. Spider-Punk is supposed to feel grimy, like he's on the front line of a protest somewhere. But credit where it's due, Baldian adds sharper gestures, expressions, and shading to sell Hobie's attitude. We also get some fun new details here, like these black biker gloves. He's seen here with a lankier frame, which fits perfectly for the scrawny, scrappy little punk rocker that he is. And for the first time, a clear look at his green Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star sneakers. These are legitimate Chucks. Some artists have a really hard time drawing a really simple shoe silhouette. Some of them try to draw Chuck Taylors, but they come out more like Chuck likes in my mind. But these are pretty good. Spider-Punk's footwear pretty much changes every time we see him. I guess he's a bit of a sneakerhead. The vest, still denim. The chest, no logo. But there is one panel where we get a tease of the back patch. Overall, it's a step forward. Elementally, I like the additions to the design, but it's not as visceral or as menacing as Coipel's version in The Amazing Spider-Man. Either way, it balances out and stays steady at a 7 on the Punkometer. In Spider-Verse 2018, written by Christos Gage, Artists Carlo Barberi and Todd Knock take the reins. Hobie doesn't get a massive amount of panel time here, but what we do see introduces a massive evolution to the design, and that is the aforementioned back patch. The first time we see it though, it is weird. It is not the back patch that we know and love today. For some reason, this is just like a rock and roll hand emoji. Throw up the horns. But then in Edge of Spider-Geddon, we get Peak, a thick oval spider emblem plastered across this man's back. It's simple, but it's purely genius. Punks like to customize their battle vests, and that back part is a huge piece of real estate that they normally reserve for something that means the most to them, either their favorite band or a message politically or socially that they're really behind. So it just makes sense that this punk rock Spider-Man would use this area to put his version of the Spider-Man logo. It's bold, it's simple, it's instantly recognizable, and the lettering inside FNSM obviously stands for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and the way that the initials are placed in the negative space of an X is a nod to the way that the New York hardcore logo has been on the street since the 80s. This is real world inspiration, taken from real world punk rock culture and applied to Spider-Man. I absolutely love to see it. This back patch is unreal. We'll rank the Edge of Spider-Geddon suit in a little bit, but this regular Spider-Geddon one is only getting a 6. It's the first drop down on this whole punko meter. The strong art to me is just bogged down by that weird emoji that is all over his back. Now to the Edge of the Spider-Verse. This is where Spider-Punk becomes Spider-Punk, bro. Writer Jed MacKay and artist Geraldo Sandoval finally give Hobie the spotlight he deserves in Edge of Spider-Geddon issue number 1. And this version, oh my god, a breath of fresh air. This issue opens up mid-fight. Low angle with Hobie, Spider-Punk, towering over a thug, torn suit, hair busting through the mask. He's holding a bat menacingly like he's about to swing it. And across that bat we see the words, "Beat on the Brat," which is a direct reference to the Ramones song of the same name. And he's about to beat on that brat with a baseball bat. New detail alert, double row studded dog collar spotted. His vest is now ripped and tattered to hell, just blowing in the wind. The spikes are taller and the white trim is bolder. The trim whim is going wild. And everything comes together in this design to look lived in. It's sharp, angular, and mean as hell. A total visual buff. So much attitude. Oozing machismo. And sure, the shoes are technically Chuck likes. They're not quite the Chuck Taylor All-Stars. The toe box is all off. But who cares about all of that? The vibe is dead on. And literally his silhouette has never been stronger. Even the face reveal hits hard as fuck. Hobie takes off the mask and he's just a regular dude. No piercings, no tattoos, small little afro, just a clean-cut boy. It's like the complete opposite of his alter ego. This is good design work, great characterization. This is the first time Spider-Punk feels like a fully realized character, and not just kind of like a side piece. He's distinct, gritty, and dripping in appeal. When I was going through school for animation, in character design class, it was all about appeal and silhouette. And this character nails both of those things flawlessly. 9 on the punko meter. Easy. Best one yet. It's in 2022, us diehard Spider-Punk fans really got to eat. We got our first ever solo run, a 5-part miniseries called Battle of the Band. This shit was written by Cody Ziegler. My compliments to the chef, sir. The cast, a legitimate lineup over here. A full-blown punk rock supergroup. We got Ironheart, Daredevil, Ms. Marvel, and the homie Captain Anarchy. This guy is the real man. Who's trying to give him a full book? Hopefully somebody. Do I have to write the Captain Anarchy story? I'll write that story. Comment down below if you want to see me write a Captain Anarchy story. I'll do like, I don't know, a 5-page draft or something. Either way, look at this rogues gallery over here. It's like Marvel threw a legitimate house show. And the cover art comes to us from the man that drew the preeminent punk rocker for the very first time. We're talking about Olivier Coipel. And he absolutely nailed it. The Converse Chuck Taylors are on full display, front and center. There's no mistaking them. These are now officially Chuck tailors, aka Chucks, aka All-Stars, aka Cons, aka 70s basketball sneakers. Either way, whatever you call them, here they are. They're Chucks, certified, and now he's rocking a belt over top of a bodysuit. It doesn't really do anything, there's no pants for it to hold up, but there it is, being aesthetically pleasing. It's the dog collar of the waist. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said. And you want to talk about trim whim, do ya? This suit's got some crisp, delicate lines around the red. Coipel's mastery really makes Spider-Punk feel alive. Inside the book though, we switch gears to Justin Mason's artwork. And oh my god, is this thing ever stylized to hell? And I mean that in the best way possible. This thing is dripping with energy and appeal. There's that word again, appeal. Mason's Hobie moves like he's been drawn with a Sharpie in a sticky bar after indulging in the finest booger sugar. Sure, the belt and choker are absent in the book, but I'm willing to overlook all of that because of how sharp and stylized everything is. The artwork matches the tone, it matches the world building, and most importantly, it captures the attitude. Taking a look at the feet, he's wearing the green Chuck Taylors right now, and I love that choice, honestly. It just clashes so hard with the rest of the outfit, and that just is punk as hell. I don't know how else to call it. The battle vest is stripped down this time. No spikes or studs, just a few pins here and there, and a perfect back patch. And somehow that minimalist stuff works. It feels DIY and earned. And in punk rock, DIY is as important to the culture as the guitar itself. And one thing I honestly would have loved to seen a little bit more in this book is just a little more inspiration from zine culture, but that's just a nitpick. Now let's take a look at the mask here. You see how these eyes are a little bit yellow? It seems like the eyes were white at one point, but they've been oxidized by the sun from all these street fights and swap meets. It's a small touch, but it adds so much grit and realism. The book oozes with frantic energy. Feedback screeches off the page like it's coming out of your unemployed friend's mesa boogie. Now let's talk about the face reveal in this book. Once again, Hobie's unmasked and still surprisingly normal. Clean cut hair, no piercings, just a chill dude. And honestly, that contrast works. It makes him feel more grounded and likable. The character feels feral but approachable. Somebody that you would really like to have in your blunt rotation. It's near perfect, 9 out of 10. Then came the moment that made Spider-Punk a global phenomenon. We're talking about the second Spider-Verse movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. With just a few minutes of screen time, this dude just steals the entire movie. That's how good this redesign is. Voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, this version of Hobie seems effortlessly cool. He's the dude that doesn't try to be cool, he's just that guy. This animation team certainly pulled from fanzine culture, along with punk rock flyers. Layers of sketchy outlines, rough inks, torn paper, mixed frame rates, multimedia, color grading shifts all over the place, up and down. His entire body moves offbeat because the character itself hates consistency. And I love it when animators and designers are given leeway to contribute so much characterization to the character. This design is a masterclass. The vest is now jet black with the Spider-Punk logo graffitied on the back. The mohawk spikes, now they vary in length and size due to his hatred of, again, say it with me, consistency. This consistent approach to inconsistency is really good. The footwear has been completely redesigned. They ditched the Chucks entirely and swapped them for these red knee-high combat boots with blue laces. His hair is now styled with these big, chunky, mid-length dreadlocks that sprawl out in all directions. And for the first time, this face reveal, we see the addition of piercings, nose, eyebrows, lips, ears, everything completely blasted, but not in a way that makes him look like a total metal face. I also adore the plaid patched pants and the torn t-shirt that he wears over top of the Spidey suit. In some drawings, he even has like fishnets going over top of them. Awesome. I love it. So cool, so good. This version of Hobie has so much charisma and appeal, and an artist has to have a shit ton of talent to pull this kind of thing off. Even working in an entire team, that might even add whole new challenges, especially when you're tasked with transplanting a punk character into a Disney movie. There are so many ways that could go so wrong. But this team went with a completely different vibe than the comics, and in my opinion, totally outdid them. There are definitely elements of this movie Spider-Punk that I would love to see incorporated into the comics. Not completely replaced, but that hair and the piercings, you could do those at least. But that's just a personal preference, you know? Whatever they do, I'm sure I'm gonna like. Spoiler, I don't like everything that they do. There is a sharp decline coming very soon. This movie version of Spider-Punk, he's 11 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. He's literally off the charts. Okay, we're about to hit our first Spider-Punk character design controversy. Remember in the comics, Hobie was clean cut, nary a piercing to be seen? Well, the movie shook things up a little bit and the fans loved it. But when the Spider-Punk comic book creative team tried their own spin on it, things got a little dicey. They went with a septum ring rather than the traditional nostril ring that Hobie had in the movie. Not a big deal, but definitely noticeable. I'm getting ahead of myself. In 2024, Hobie got a second solo series from the same creative team from Battle of the Band. This time it's called Arms Race. The cover by Takashi Okazaki tamed the combat boots down a little bit and wrapped them with duct tape. He even put a Spider-Punk logo on the sole. I prefer these boots to the Chucks, to be honest. This is a good look. Hobie is wearing pants over the suit, like the movie, but they're not plaid like the movie. This time they're a little baggier. They're like baggy jeans, which isn't as cool, but it still kind of works. And the Mohawk spikes are taller than previous comic book iterations, but they are all the same size and shape. And we now know a big part of Hobie's character is that he hates consistency. But none of that is what sparked the debate. The conversation came when Hobie took the mask off and this hair was revealed. Now it might not be what you think. It's not the color of the hair that got people all fired up. It was the style of the hair. You see, in the movie Black Panther, there's a character called Killmonger, and Killmonger had this certain hairstyle, where it was short on the bottom and then dreadlocks, short dreadlocks on the top. And after that character debuted, people started to notice that other people started having the Killmonger hair. Almost to a tokenization point, where people within the black community were like, hey, people don't actually have this hair, so why are you giving it to every black character, Hollywood? You started seeing it everywhere, TV, games, movies, and now, right here on the homie Hobie Brown. Me though, I don't mind it. I think it kind of looks cool and suits the character, but I do kind of wish it was the movie version of the hair. Imagine the movie version of the hair with this sunburst effect. My God, that'd be so sick. And then, out of nowhere, 9 years into his existence, Spider-Punk gets a front logo. Slap that insignia straight on the chest, boy. I don't know why they did it, but they did it. I don't even know if they realized they did it. But either way, comic book Hobie Brown went through a dramatic transformation just from his first solo run into his second solo series. Baggy pants over the suit, that insane hair, the logo on the chest, and yet somehow it all still works for me. I'm not gonna roast this version of the character design. Minor gripes aside, it still rules. We'll get to the final two examples very shortly, and that's where we're gonna see this character design crumble in broad daylight. But first, let's take a look at a couple video game skins. Before we do, we gotta plot this version of Hobie Brown on the Punkometer, and I'm still feeling a pretty strong 8 out of 10. It's an improvement on the original, but not quite as strong as the solo run or the movie. And now a brief look at some video game skins that we will not be ranking. First, in 2023, Spider-Man 2 came out on PlayStation 5, developed by Insomniac Games. Oh my God, they're coming out with Wolverine soon. I can't wait for it. But this version of Spider-Punk takes inspiration more from the comic books than it does the movies. I don't want to go detail for detail here, but it just looks sick. 2024 gave us the Fortnite skin. And obviously, if you look at it, it takes full inspiration from the film. This design is peak. But now we gotta talk about some poop from the butt. Heading back to comics, in 2024, Spider-Punk appeared in Spider Society, written by Alex Segura and penciled by Scott Godlewski. And get this book is actually credited with a designer. Does that mean we have even more quality control here? This is gonna be really good, right? Right? This is gonna be awesome, right? Wrong. This shit sucks. Here, Hobie is reduced to background fodder, slowly deteriorating before our very eyes. The cover by Pete Woods shows tall mohawk spikes, a denim vest with pins, white trim, and a front logo. The red meets under the front logo in a V shape this time. Normally it's that inverse W shape, remember? He's got the double belt from the movies, but he's back in the Chuck likes. This design is all over the place already. No bracelets, spikes, or armbands, slapdash, and haphazard. But then we open the book and things get even wilder. That front logo comes and goes on a whim. The trim whim? Oh my god, don't even get me started. The red on the chest is now cut like the traditional W shape like it normally is. The double belt becomes a single. The Chuck likes swap to combat boots. And then the most egregious part of this whole thing is the back patch. Just like the front logo, it comes and goes from panel to panel. This is the same artist drawing the same character in the same book, just a couple pages apart from one another. And not only is it the same artist, they have a designer on staff, they have an editor on staff, and 2 assistant editors, and nobody caught any of this. I looked at this book for literally 5 minutes and I could pick out all of these things. I'll say the 2 words again: slapdash, haphazard. It's totally amateur hour over here, and these are Marvel pros on a mainline Spider-Man book. They're cash cow. There is no excuse for this level of neglect when people are literally paying $5 a pop for this shit. This is extremely disappointing, a drastic fall from grace. Every previous version, even Hobie as a side character, was baller. This categorically not baller. And to top it off, the Killmonger hair unfortunately makes a return. Without the sunburst effect, it's just boring. Wow, they really nerfed Spider-Punk here, huh? This is getting a mere 3 on the Punkometer. A truly jarring drop. It might have been a 6 or 7 without all of those careless mistakes. And trust me, it gets worse from here, for me anyway. There's a special place in hell for the Marvel Rivals Spider-Punk 2099 skin. It's not slapdash or haphazard, I just hate it. And I normally glaze the fuck out of Marvel Rivals design. This one, not so much. I did a full video on the punk skins in Marvel Rivals, and it's by far my most popular video on this channel. In it, I went pretty deep on what's so wrong about this skin. But basically, in a nutshell, I know it's meant to be cyberpunk, not street punk, but the DIY essence of Spider-Punk has been totally stripped away. Even in the year 2099, he should still have that kind of edge, no? Here, he's been completely zapped. Nothing raw, visceral, or independent remains. It's just sleek and corporate. Definitively anti-punk. Are you kidding me with the digital LED motorcycle helmet with the big cartoonish mohawk spikes? Absolutely terrible. And the vest looks insanely expensive. Punks don't like to spend money on anything other than beer. And now the belt, now for some reason has a Liefeld-esque pouch just on it. And the worst part, the golf gloves. Biker gloves were fine, but you swap the color to white and all of a sudden it's just a weekend at the country club. I can't find a single redeeming quality about this design. I know some people like it, I just don't agree with you. And the more I look at it, the more I hate it. I'm giving this thing a 0. This thing is completely trash. It's the only Marvel Rivals skin that I do not like, and I hate it. Who's gonna save Spider-Punk and bring him back to glory? Well, if this Variety article is anything to be believed, there's a movie in development with the same voice actor from the Spider-Verse film. With how production is going on the 3rd Spider-Verse film, who knows if and when we'll ever see anything else. But whatever comes next, please, I beg you, no golf gloves. But hey, what about you? Which Spider-Punk design is your favorite? And I just wonder, did I earn that like and subscribe from you? Hit the like button, press subscribe right now if I did. Who should I cover next? I want to cover an X-Men character, but to be honest, the character I cover next is going to be whatever Marvel Rivals character drops next. Gotta follow the algorithm, and I think that's the way to do it. So it's probably either going to be Gambit or Rogue if any of the rumors are to be believed. Okay, goodbye, see you later, and catch you on the next episode of Comic Evolution.
I'm Mr. King Dice, I'm the gamest in the land. I never play nice, I'm the devil's right-hand man.